Hi there, Taurus. It's February 2021. Thanks for joining me. Here's your chart for the month. Still the dominating factor. Well, one of the dominating factors is this Mars and Uranus combination. At least now Mars is moving away from that explosive Uranus energy, which I think for many of you has really created some havoc in your life. You'll also notice the red lines here. You'll distinguish those from the blue lines. The red ones are what we call challenging aspects, and the blue ones are supportive aspects. But as you can see here, the top part of the chart is quite heavy this month. Some nice favourable influences to all of these planets from the sixth house of your service and interaction with co-workers to this huge cluster of planets in your career sector. This 10th house is all about your reputation and your career. And so that works very, very well on those days. Notice Mercury goes retrograde in the very early part of the month. That's your finance planet, and it also relates to the 5th house of creativity or speculation. Speculation is not always about money. It can be, for example, speculating that a particular job on offer is going to be great when in fact it may not be. So that can be a bit of a gamble. The general rule of thumb is that the retrograde Mercury, causes all sorts of backflips and miscommunications, that type of thing. For you, actually, Mercury is a good planet. It rules the 2nd and 5th house. This is a favourable house. 2nd house is a neutral house. But it shows us that it is retrograde and its power to do good is usually enhanced. Nevertheless, I would still say don't go making uninformed decisions and shooting from the hip, because that can cause some problems. You see it here, transiting back over this pathway here in the 10th house, connected to the Sun and Jupiter. Now, things may shift in your professional area around the 11th and 12th. That's when the moon enters into this sector. That's a huge stellium of planets. It makes contact with retrograde Mercury in preparation for the new moon there. I think it's on the 12th. And that does show us an opportunity. You may find out or learn about the topic or the situation just as that new moon is underway. There could be some idealism that takes place when the moon connects with Neptune here in your zone of friendships. That has to be carefully monitored because there's what we call a T-square there to these nodes. And the nodes show that you're probably a little out of step with the prevailing trends or the culture or what the value systems of your friends happen to be. Mercury is really making contact with all of these planets in your 10th house. So this could be different facets of your work, dealing with your employer. You notice here that it is I'm not sure whether it's going to make contact with Saturn there, but it's close enough to stimulate that connectivity. Saturn right now is at the very top of the chart. It's been there along with Pluto, showing us a lot of these factors that have been somewhat out of your control in work, which is why the retrogression is causing you to revamp, rethink, reassess a lot of what's been going on in that particular part of your life. Now on the 19th, Moon makes contact, 18th, 19th makes contact with Mars. Mars is now sufficiently far away from Uranus. Still, Mars is your ruler of relationships, and that tells us that there will be more of a focus on your love life around that time. I might sort of add an additional condition to that, because we've got so much stuff happening here in your work arena that this could be, for some of you anyhow, a business partnership. Any sort of partnership that is sort of in your view right now may need to be addressed at that time. 3rd house moon gives you more of a contractual or communicative leaning, and that's a favourable influence to Neptune. Some of your ideals may be reached at that time. And we see also the movement of the Sun around the 20th, 21st, first here into the sign of Pisces. And straight after that, you see, take a look here at Venus, your ruling planet, moving out of the 10th house. There it is there on the 26th, ready to take its well-earned profits, just desserts from the efforts that you've been making over the past few months, maybe even years. Planets, all of them, function really, really well in this 11th house and show acquisition of friendship, acquisition of money, and any other cherished ideal that you have. But please note this, what we call a grand square here. All of these planets are in square. Moon on the very last day of the month to the nodes. These are karmic points. And here, loose squares to the sun. It's a full moon, by the way, on that last day. Finishing up on the on that date in your 5th house of children, creativity, and the speculation again. You may not be able to leave it alone, but I would suggest that maybe you wait for Mercury for a couple more days till Mercury picks up a bit of steam before making any firm decisions on those points we started earlier in the reading. If you want more, go to astrology.com.au. We've got the full monthly rundown there. We've got the dailies and also, of course, the yearly forecast that I've put together for each of the 12 star signs. It's a perfect time to consider a reading for yourself. Drop me a line if you'd like me to take a close look at your horoscope based upon the time and place you're born. That will give us so many other levels and layers of insight into what's going on in your life if you'd like to do that. And I'll see you next month. Take care. Bye-bye.